Hi guys, for those of you that don't know me, I am Anointed Rose from J3Sixteen Productions, and I want you guys to take a good look at this picture one more time. I've been putting Emilio Andres Smith's picture up for quite some time. Just take a good look at him, okay? This little boy that I've been putting up, I have been talking about him and spreading awareness for the Smith family, and on behalf as well of my dear friend Livia Lopez, who has been spreading awareness on his behalf about his death. Most of you guys have been watching the Netflix trial. It's a Trials of Gabriel Hernandez, and I've seen these, these comments on how a lot of you guys have talked about, like the parents are monsters, they should be burned to hell, and all this anger. And that's the first thing that the flesh is gonna react to, because you know what, honestly, anybody who reacts to abuse towards a child is heartless. I mean, I just don't understand how, and I guess I'll never comprehend how you can have a baby, how you can just have a child and then just kill what God has gifted you to take care of, trusted you, entrusted for you to raise. It's a gift of God. A child is a gift of God. He's trusting you to raise that gift that he blessed you with. It's not something that you don't take a life lightly. You have to take it serious. And some people are blessed with it and they take lives for granted, and that's just, it's an unfortunate situation. So stay with me here, okay? Because what I'm going to share with you guys is important. All right? I decided to make this video, and I'm deciding to share something very personal about my life. Emilio's story, what I'm going to share about my life, this isn't about me. I'm just sharing it with you guys so that you guys comprehend why I've made it, why I am making Emilio's story so dear to me, why I'm fighting, for his voice to be heard, and why I'm asking you guys to join into the fight. First of all, I believe in the Word of God. I believe, that we must be the voices for those that cannot be heard. Emilio's voice cannot be heard. It's too late. His voice should have been heard way before it was taken away. And there's a lot of lives out there, a lot of kids who are dying daily, and they can't be heard. So let's be that voice for a lot of them, for a lot of the tomorrows that are going to come. And let's try to spread that awareness, that epidemic that is going on right now, that has been going on for quite some time, and stop this epidemic that is going on. Let me tell you guys something, okay? I just got my son. My son, he's now 19 years old, okay? I got my son back in June 22nd of 2018. All right? He turned 18. And his journey is I mean, it's a heartbreaking journey. My son is fortunate because he is a survivor of abuse. His father abused him to the point that he almost killed him. And I fought I fought for my son through the court system. I did everything I could possible to make sure that his voice was heard. But you know what? The system failed me. I'm going to be blank. The system failed me. And the reason why was because I ended up suffering several TIAs. If you guys don't know what that is, that's mini strokes. And what happened was I was in a facility and I was pretty much living there because I couldn't eat, walk, talk. I couldn't do anything for myself. I had to learn how to do all those things again. And so it just so happened that when that happened, the court process was taking place. And so money talks. Let me tell you something. Money talks. Money I didn't have. I couldn't afford a lawyer. I couldn't afford anybody. And so my ex could. How? I don't know. But he was able to. And he got a lawyer. He was able to get a lot of money somehow. And I'm talking about a pretty dime too. And let me tell you something. I ended up finding out, some things about the lawyer. How the lawyer was a scandalous lawyer. And but that's I'm not going to go there, but anyhow, the fact of the matter is, the first judge that I had, somehow it was switched. I didn't have her no more. Then I ended up getting another judge. Okay? Or we ended up getting another judge. Had I known what I know now about the justice system, stay with me, guys. Stay with me. You guys need to know. You need to know. Because let me tell you something. When you can't afford a lawyer, when you don't know your rights, you're going to want to know what I'm about to tell you. The first judge was switched. I ended up finding out. Every person in the case, like the defendant and the plaintiff, you get one chance to switch judges. After that one chance, you can't switch anymore. I didn't know that. Even if I didn't have a lawyer, all I had to do was go to the court, get a document. I didn't even have to say why I was switching judges. But submit a document that I wanted to change the judge. And I could have switched the judge. I didn't know that. Okay? Had I known that, because I felt that the judge that I had was being biased, I felt that he was not hearing anything that was being said. In the beginning, he was hearing what I was saying. And all of a sudden, my ex has money. All of a sudden, he starts changing a little bit. So I'm thinking in my head, something's going on here. My ex has money. Could it be? You get what I'm saying? You guys with me here? So I was like, what is going on? So in the midst of all this, okay, I suffered the several TIAs. My ex tries to push the court. They're trying to get custody. They're trying to have my son, and mind you, my ex wasn't in my children's life. My kids really didn't have a relationship, with my ex. And this is by their mouth, okay? This is by what they've told me. Because you guys have to understand that when I suffered the TIAs, I lost my memory. So I'm telling you guys by information that I've read now, and by things that my court documents I've read, and things that my children have also told me, and things that I've gone through in the past 5, almost 6 years, that even I was going through with the courts. Okay. Anyways, so when I was in the facility, the doctor, gets a phone call from my ex's lawyer, and he's like, hey, you guys can't, she's not in any state for you guys to try to continue this motion. She can't speak for herself right now. Well, I'm sorry, I guess the lawyer got really petty and haughty and all this mess, and was still trying. He didn't care. And I guess the doctor had it out with him and stuff like that, and called the judge and told the judge, and the judge was like, we can't, sorry, there's certain, rules and stuff, and we can't push forward. Anyways, they ended up waiting for me. I was able to get speech therapy, and I was able to fight the court case over the phone. Well, to make this long story short, okay, 2017 comes, and I had proof. I had proof that my ex beat my son to the point that he almost killed my son. I had proof that the paternal grandmother, which was his mom, which was my ex's mother, was present, and that his sister was also present at the time that he had beat my son, and that my daughter, my oldest daughter, which is also my son's sister, my oldest daughter, was present. She got mentally traumatized from the images, and he told my daughter, can you believe this? He told my daughter, if you tell your mother, I'm going to do the same thing that I did to him to you. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. He told my daughter that. Do you think that even with that being said, that the judge would even allow my oldest daughter to testify that in court? No. No. The judge would not even hear my daughter. The judge would not even hear my daughter. Being a key witness, and my daughter was older, the judge would not even hear my daughter. Okay? With witnesses being there, the judge this was here in Tucson, Arizona, y'all. Okay? Now, so then, with that being said, okay? With that being said, 2017, there was a situation where a psychiatrist and my 2 children and my ex were in the office. And my ex lost it in front of the psychiatrist with my kids. He started yelling at them. She documented all of that. She submitted that paperwork to the courts, telling the judge that the father was not in any state to be left alone with the children, that he needed to take anger management classes. There was several documentation from several people stating that. Okay? Judge did not even care about all of that. Okay? I had my mom that my son could have gone to. I had my siblings that my son could have gone to while I was in rehabilitation. Okay? Do you think that even with me saying that to them, that he would even consider them? No. Guess what he did? The court finds that You, Rose, are not in any state to care for your child because of your health state. And therefore, in the law of Arizona, we have no choice but to legally submit that the biological father have rights, pretty much. I forgot what the word is, but pretty much they gave him rights for my son to live with him, so to make decisions for him medically, and all of that. So my son had no relationship with his bio dad all these years, right? And from one day to the next, he gets stripped from my life. To the man that almost took his life out of my life. Mind you, I had just suffered several mini strokes. And the judge did that to me. Yeah. And the worst thing was hearing my son say that he was going to kill himself. Let me tell you guys something. That's why I'm taking Emilio's case very serious. Because the justice system does fail. It fails. My son turned 18, called me 10 o'clock at night, and told me he had run away from his bio dad's home, and for me to drive to go pick him up. The Lord heard my prayers, and we were reunited once more. There is a God. Let me tell you that God watches over praying mothers and fathers. He will not hand over our children to the enemy. When you pray, God watches over you. Let me tell you, we have a Father that will never, ever leave your side. You may cry. Weeping goes through the night, but joy comes in the morning. Let me tell you, we are victorious. Circumstances are only but a moment. It is a season we go through, but you don't stay in that seasons. Just like summer is for a season, winter is for a season, but what happens? They pass. They pass. Everything passes. Nothing stays. Everything passes. So that's why, guys, that's why you have to understand. You have to understand that whatever seasons happen in our life, it is but a season, okay? So I'm coming to you guys, letting you guys know, okay, that we have to be the voices. I didn't get a chance to be a voice for my son the way that I wanted to, because in that time, I was not in the condition that I was. But you know what? God heard my prayers. I was at least the voice in prayer at the time. I fought with higher power at my side. And the higher power was the one that won. Ultimately, in the end, he won. And today, guess what? I had to do the hardest thing, which was let go of my son, because he graduated from high school, and now I had to go drop him off at his dorm. And it was hard. It was hard for me to do. But you know what? My son did not allow the abuse to define him. He is now becoming the man that he's chosen to be, and that's to grow and to succeed in life. He's not going to let this stop him. He is going to grow, and he's going to be the best that he can. There's children out there that aren't even going to get a chance to have this type of life. I was fortunate enough. But if I can at least be the voice for others, then I want to be that voice. And I want you guys to help me. And let's be Emilio's voice. Let's be his voice. Let's be Emilio's voice. He needs to be heard. His case is a complex case, but it doesn't have to be complex. Justice has to prevail. I am working with important people right now, and that's all I can say. And these important people that I'm working with, they're going to do everything they can to make sure that justice prevails. Look at this. He can't speak. Let's be his voice. Let's be his voice. Justice has to prevail, people. This could have been your kid. This could have been your grandson. This could have been your son, your grandson, your niece, your nephew. Help me in this journey and bring peace where peace is needed. There's too much ugliness out there. Let me tell you another thing before I let y'all go. And you guys are probably going to think I'm crazy after I say this to y'all, but y'all need to hear something really, 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 really deep. The hardest thing that one can do is forgive those that have done you so dirty. I had to ask God to circumcise my heart. And for those of you that don't know what that is to dig deep into my heart right here. Because sometimes when you hold grudges against people, and when you tell God, you know what, God, I forgive them. I do. Like, really, I hold no grudges. And you really think that you aren't holding grudges. You really think that there really isn't any bitterness, and you think that you really did forgive them. You come to realize that when you ask God to circumcise your heart, when God actually does the cleaning in your heart, you start seeing all this ugly buildup, all this ugly tar, and this stuff just coming out. And then you realize that was in there. All of that junk was in my heart. Because you know what? When you get your heart circumcised, you don't realize that what you did when you were saying that you forgave that person, what you actually did was you kind of placed it under the rug. You kind of swept it underneath, trying to forget about it. But you didn't actually forgive. And that's what I had done. I had kind of scooted it underneath. But reality was that I needed healing. You know, the hardest thing to do is forgive. We tend to be a bitter people. We tend to harbor anger. We tend to nurture, things. We tend to hold on grudges and things that hold, that hurt us. We tend to nurture those things because the human part, it's a daily battle. It's a thing that we battle. It's a thing that we battle every single day. And we don't know how to let go of those things. Because we're so wounded in our soul, we don't know how to let go of it. We're so hurt because of what people have done to us. And when it comes to abuse and stuff like that, whether if it's because someone done killed our kid or because, someone abused us in a different type of way, whether if it's physical, mental, emotional, it don't matter what kind of abuse. The anger still is in there. That bitterness, it builds up. And I needed to learn how to let go. I needed God to really take that from me. Because the Bible says, forgive your enemy, forgive your neighbor, love them. Because I love them. And I was wearing the ugly jacket for a long time. I didn't even realize I was wearing the ugly jacket. And reality is that I had to go to the mirror and really take a look. And sometimes the hardest thing to do is look at yourself in the mirror and realize that the real enemy is the one looking at you. A lot of us don't even realize that the biggest enemy is the one that looks at straight at us every day in the morning. We don't even realize that we're our own enemies because we're the ones that are the ones nurturing and harboring all those feelings and emotions deep inside of us. We don't realize that. Until we actually ask God to clean our hearts and take all that bitterness. And I did that. And you know what? I had to reflect on Christ. I said, Lord, how can I actually say that I forgave my ex for doing what he did to my son and say that I'm a Christian? I can't say that. Then that would make me a hypocrite. Because you, Lord, you, Jesus, when you died on the cross, you died for the people that were rapists. You died for the murderers. You died for the child abusers too. You died for every single sinner. You didn't just die for regular people. You died for every single humankind, good and bad. We're such a messed up generation. Even till this day, we're so messed up. And Christ died for all of us. Even the ones that do messed up things like this. He died even for those. And I know what y'all are thinking. I know what y'all are thinking. How is that so? How could that be? God has a plan, y'all. That's all I can say. God has a plan. But until you guys learn how to stop hating, if we stop being a part of the problem and start being a part of the solution, maybe, just maybe, there wouldn't be so much hate in this world. Maybe, just maybe, we'd see less of the abuse going on. And the truth is, there's so much hate, there's so much hurt, that we just keep hurting each other. You know what I'm saying? We don't take time to reflect on ourselves. We don't take time to ask God to circumcise our heart. I had to ask God to cleanse my heart. I had to tell him, you know what? Show me how to forgive him. And you know what? When God did that to me, I was able to forgive my ex. I was able to forgive my ex in a way that I never thought I was able to. And I forgive him now. And as a result, believe it or not, as a result, my son actually has a relationship with his dad now. That man that I'm talking about, that tried killing my son actually has a relationship with him now. A good relationship. Yeah, that's what God does. I hope this talks to y'all. I really hope this talks to y'all. Because there's a story behind this all. Despite this all, y'all, I know God has a plan. I know this all came with a twist. I know this all came with a twist. But we gotta end this. We gotta end this, y'all. We got to. I love y'all. God bless. Until next time.